So why did you decide to come on the DISC certification course?
I think I count myself fortunate to have received the message from People Source Consulting. I received it, but I didn't just act on it. Or my boss being a D. she's a doer. So she saw it, she's had experience in it in the past. So she felt it was high time we brought it into MRS Oil Plc. So she looked for the best fit, the individual that is best fit to actually go for that course and actually implement. So based on the analysis she did on her personality and habits, she felt most competent to actually attend the training. So when she made that known to me, that actually spurred me to know more about what this is, how it's going to add value. So at that point in time, I showed interest. So it was actually my boss that started the whole process there. So immediately she mentioned that I have to attend. That also made it an important thing for me, an important task for me to go through the details of this. So ever since I've shown interest, and I guess it wasn't a mistake at all. It wasn't.
Fantastic. So how would you use the DISC personally as well as within your organization now that you've been through the certification program?
Yes, personally, don't let me be selfish. Let me start from the company perspective.
Okay.
Once I get into my organization, I'm doing a report first to let my boss be aware of some areas of DISC. I think she had it just as an intro. She didn't really go into details like I did. So I really need to let her know some of the values, additional values that DISC hold. So first I have to give her the information of the areas you can actually apply DISC. Also I need to share with my colleagues on the need for them to understand the various behavioral styles we have in human beings, because it's not all about me alone. Other individuals also need to get to know what this is all about. So I think I really need to share with my colleagues so that if they know to the extent or possibly more than I know about DISC, I think it's going to add a great value to the department and to the organization, because it's not just going to be about me trying to analyze behaviors, find solutions for things. If I'm not there, my colleagues that know about this very well would also step into my shoes and say, okay, this is what I know about DISC, and this is how it can apply. So I'll have to give my boss the whole information about the application and the areas that I can actually apply DISC, which are numerous.
Do you want to mention some of those areas?
Yeah, one area that is quite fascinating for me is in the area of teams. Because we have team issues, we have a situation whereby we constitute teams. Currently, we're trying to develop constitute a focus group to help us review our employee handbook. Yes. We've had it in the past, I think about 2-3 years ago. It's not been reviewed, so we came up with some additional statements, additional provisions. So with this time around, we don't want to make the mistake of just implementing or just getting approval and implementing the handbook. We want other people to be involved. So the focus group we are constituting now, initially our plan was look at the age grade, look at the demography, look at whether or not they are married, look at whether or not they have kids. Those are the things we were focusing on. But now, this time around, I think it's way beyond that. This has to come in. This has to take a role in how we constitute our focus group. We have to look at the different behavioral styles. If we are in a group and we don't have a D, we are likely to be stuck in reviewing the handbook for a month, and we have a 15 days timeline to actually implement whatever reviews we have. So looking at the focus group now, constituting a focus group, we have to take cognizance of having a D, having an I, having an S, and having a C, so that by having a variant combination of different behavioral styles, we will be sure that we are actually giving opportunity to the different behaviors we have in the organization. So in terms of constituting teams for success, this is really playing a major role. Then in terms of promotions too, we have issues whereby in the past, our promotion policy has always been performance, recommendations from the supervisor, and being a PLC, it has always been approval from the board too would need to be considered. But this time around, we also need to look at how this can play a role in terms of promotion, especially for leadership roles, succession roles. This will be able to tell us various personalities we need to look at for some specific roles. Some roles require specific requirements in terms of behaviors, in terms of attitude. Some roles are basically human related. You need to be able to manage human teams. You need to be able to manage human attitudes at various degrees. So using this, it will really be able to help us identify who is best suited for a role than the other. Aside that too, we could also use this in the area of recruitment, because it's not just about the competence in recruitment. We also need to look at the behavioral style. You might see someone as highly competent for a role, but in terms of the behavioral aspect of that job, is not fitting well to it. Research shows that the reason why we have safety issues in the organization has to do with human attitude, not processes, not the system. It has to be your attitude to safety. So, for example, if someone is, let's say, an S who is unwilling, who needs to be pushed, will not really be that cautious to safety standards. It will be difficult for us, or it might be a misplacement if we take an S for a safety manager role. If we have someone with a C applying for a job compared with an S, I think I will go for a C more, but this knowledge wouldn't have been evident if I have not gone through this training and certification process. So these are just a few areas. Then personally, the areas that I would apply it. I'm a member of NGOs and other associations outside of work. I think my role there is not just to be an executive or a member. My role is also to let people understand that human behaviors play a major role in how we achieve success as an NGO. So I think in this area too, I need to also bring to their notice what the advantages of this is all about, starting with giving them the awareness on the various behavioral styles, how they relate with one another, and how we can use the strengths and weaknesses in actually getting the best out of our teams. So these are just few areas I think this becomes relevant.
Fantastic. So ultimately, this is not just about discovering about our personality styles, but it's also about helping yourself as well as the organization achieve organizational performance.
Definitely.
So would you recommend this certification course, and to who would you recommend it?
That's a yes for me. Okay. I would definitely recommend it. Not just recommend it, but I will also recommend People's Source, because this is my first time of having this kind of certification, and I think the experience I've had has really been interesting. Given the 3 days, given the 1 day, I never expected to have a break yesterday, but it was just like People's Source actually knew what they were doing in terms of getting people to know about this and getting to get people to get certification in this area. So if I will be recommending this, I will be recommending it for my organization first, because they actually is the reason why I'm here. So I will first recommend it for them. I'll recommend it for them to implement for all HODs, line managers, and supervisors. Then I also recommend for the HR team, all HR personnel also need, if not to the certification level, but at least an introductory course on this is very important for, or in fact is the key. Like what we have in our organization is, if you're an HR person, one of the key things we're looking at is, in terms of your qualification, you have to be a member of CIPM, even though you are not certified yet. We want you to be a member of CIPM. At least that shows your competence of being a lifelong learner. Being a part of a professional body, you will always want to get industry trends, get latest information about HR practices. So that gives us a kind of an idea that you have a lifelong competence in you. So For this too, I think it's something we should also incorporate as one of the key requirements for HR professionals to also have within our organization. Then aside the organization too, I think I will also recommend it for my association, an Islamic association. I will recommend them for, sometimes some of them might not have the opportunity of going for trainings, but one of the things I would like to incorporate is for all our programs we should always have this awareness session where behavioral styles can be discussed, how it can bring success to the association and the likes. Then aside that, so I also recommend it for my family members who I think they might be having issues at some point in time. It might not be directly for them, but they might find themselves in a situation whereby they need to play a role of counselor. They might need to play a role of an arbiter, such that there are issues in the family, there are issues with marriages, there are issues with extended family and things like that. Some of them might not have even heard of what this is all about. So giving them that opportunity or referring this to them or referring people's source to them, and it will give them an insight into what they should know and into what they should do when it comes to solving conflicts and things like that. And one beautiful thing about this was that I was really, really impressed with this. There was no negativity. There was no negativity in all the conflicts, in all the business issues we reviewed. There was no way it was mentioned that get rid of this person. There was no way. There was no way that there was no way it was stated that this person is bad, this person is not good, this person is weak. There was no way it was stated. It was merely looking at strengths and weaknesses, identifying what your weaknesses are and see how you can actually turn that into strength. So it was really, really impressive for me, having to see that there was no way they were actually criticizing or telling somebody that is not good enough, because I know what that could bring, especially to an S who fear the to a C who fears, no, C is an insecurity, S is an insecurity, C is a rejection, and I who fears rejection, that they don't want a situation whereby they will be rejected, things like that, especially for an I. So I'm trying to tell myself that what if an I is rejected? Somehow, or some of the I's could even commit suicide. I think most of the people that commit suicide, maybe they are an I, they just felt rejected and they just went ahead and commit suicide. So it was really impressive for me that there was no negativity or criticism of one behavioral style being bad or not good.
No, so it's really about maximizing the strengths.
Exactly.
From all, and you need all behavioral styles to have a complete team. So what's one key, finally, just one key learning point that you're taking away for yourself personally from this course?
One key learning. I've heard about DISC. Well, I never knew what DISC was all about, but I just knew it was this dominant, influencing and things like that, but I never knew what it constitutes, what were the content and how it actually relates to bring success to an organization. So it was a high learning point for me to have understood what the entire DISC is all about, how the behavioral styles worked together to achieve success. For you to achieve success, you can't say you only need a D, you only need an I, you only need an S, you don't need a C. You need everyone. Just like team, together everyone achieves more. I think team is equal to DISC.
Thank you. Wow, that's a wonderful way to stop. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.